Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, Texas has done it again. Sweep all three rivals back-to-back years. Last time that happened was 1970. Steve Sarkeesian wanted to make sure everybody knew that after the game. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about Sark. We'll talk about the playoff. Lane Kiffin's going to LSU. All that good stuff. We are fully loaded, as you can see, with the outsiders. Our quarterback, Mr. Mach 5, has joined us, and we are the outsiders. Brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/outsiders for $10 off your first order. There's some of those new flannels that they've got available. Also, last week, we told you they had partnered up with one Thomas Rhett for this very cool corduroy number called the Valdosta. So if you are into the long sleeve stuff, check it out. Now, the Valdosta is going to get you your mother of pearl snaps. But if you're over on these other regular flannels, that is the button look, which is going to get you the magnetic pocket instead of the snap pocket. They've got all kinds of great features. Check them out. ponchooutdoors.com/outsiders. I've got the Fort Davis on tonight. Bo looks like he's rocking one of the hoodies. There's all kinds of ponchos out there for you. All right, gentlemen, Texas got the win, 27-17. Big brothers it once again. Who wants to start with reactions?
Let the guy that picked them start first.
Bo's got a big smile. Probably needs to be Bo, since the other three did pick A&M. Bo picked the Longhorns. He was right. Bo, what'd you think?
Well, to quote a Monkey song, yes, I'm a believer because I believed in this team. I believed in. I even got Jason Dick to have a little giggle there. I know everyone thinks that I'm always a homer, but I have predicted Texas to lose before. I do think they have flaws. I thought the matchup favored Texas. If things got off to the right start, I really thought that Texas was going to win the game. And no offense, that Marcel Reed, when pushed, which is not a knock on Marcel, they haven't had true competition numerous times over where somebody could force some mistakes. And I thought that would happen. And that's kind of where it ended up. Performance by Texas. And not to sugarcoat it, but if Texas could have got out of their own way, it could have been worse than that. Texas was the team on Friday night. And that's what Texas will have to take solace in when they get left out of the playoffs. That's what they build on for next year. They have a good core coming back from this team. Now they need to go. If the Lane Kiffin, which I know we will discuss later, teaches you anything, chivalry is dead in college football. Trying to play it right, just go buy your damn team and go win a freaking title. You have the key components. Go fill in the rest. Thank you. End scene.
Jason, your guy Arch Manning looked pretty damn good, especially in that second half.
Well, yeah, to quote a Monkey song, Chad, after the first half, I was ready to put Arch on the last train to Clarksville.
Well done.
God damn it, I couldn't get it out.
Well done.
Were they selling pottery down on 24th Street?
I'll say come, I don't know what it was, 8 o'clock, 8:15. I was not feeling great, all right, even though Texas was still in the game. I mean, we had done very little. I mean, I guess Texas is they've got the special sauce when it comes to stopping A&M on offense. But, yeah, Arch looked awful in the first half. And I'll let Chance comment on the adjustments that Texas made because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they came out and played so well on that side of the ball in the second half. Obviously, running the ball was the key for them. But, yeah, to come out and, I mean, Bo is right. Dominant in that second half. And if they had played like that for the entirety of the game, could have gotten pretty ugly for the Aggies.
Before Chance weighs in, what happened Friday night was what happened to us in Athens. It was a close game for a little while, and then the wind blew the doors open, and that's what happened. Even though the score was only 10 points, did anybody watching that game, in my opinion, didn't think the Aggies were ever going to be in that game, in that second half. It was a dominating performance from my burnt orange lens. Chance, take the floor.
Well, let's start with the defensive side of the ball, and Ethan Burke and that pass rush and what they were able to do was nothing short of impressive. I think you also have to say in the second half, and Jason's right. Like that first half, I felt like it felt like we were going to win. I'm not going to say I was like confident at halftime, but it felt like one of those games where the defense was rising to the occasion and the offense was going to be able to figure it out. Another hat tip. I have to hat tip the offensive line in the second half. I thought Arch had time to throw the ball when he needed to. Lanes were opened up for the running. And when we play complementary football, that's what Sark's been looking for all year long. If we can run the football, we become a very dangerous team. And I still believe there's drops. I still believe, like Bo said, we're not getting in the playoffs. It's just not happening. You can make the argument. And look, I get annoyed with people on X that are like, Sark's begging. That's his freaking job. He is supposed to go lobby for his team. What would you rather him say? No, guys, leave us out. We're not any good. No. Like, shut up. Quit being dumbasses, especially the people that we just beat. Like, stop. He's doing his job. They're not getting in the playoffs. They're a 3-loss team, okay? And it's not even the Ohio State. Stop talking about Ohio State. It's the Florida loss. If you take care of business against Florida, the Ohio State thing doesn't matter. Wipe that away. I think it opens up a real opportunity for this team to really attack the portal and to fill in some of those needs that they have. Because I think, say what it will, they were focused the last 2 years during the portal runs. They were focused on being in the playoffs and going and trying to win a national championship. I know you're supposed to be able to do both. Doesn't always work out that way because you don't know who's coming, who's going. You don't know who's going to go ahead and leave early. There's a lot of factors that go into that I think Texas has a chance to really look at and go attack and fill in the needs. I think they need somebody, and we got a recruit that's he's a 26 though, so we won't see him for a while. We need somebody that can beat you downfield. We've got to go get somebody that can just absolutely beat you downfield and catch the ball. Nothing wrong with the guys we have, but sometimes when they don't always catch it. It's a thing. We need to attack the offensive line. I know that they played better. And we need to go get some killer DBs. But other than that, I thought the team played really, really well. I thought, and I got to give a hat tip to, I wasn't in the stadium, but just listening to the game on TV, the crowd seemed absolutely incredible. I had my friends, my girlfriend, her family were texting me during the game going, we had no idea Texas could be this loud. This is unbelievable. And to whoever did the game ops and changed up the music, and made it to where it was more Ethan Burke's headphones as opposed to playing what we played in the 80s. Good job, because the guys enjoyed it.
So what is that here to stay? When I was at UT, when you were playing, Chance, the DKR did not have a reputation as a real tough place to play, okay? You had a lot of fancy people drinking Chardonnay in sweet boxes. But now, and I don't know if it's the drone show or the music or Bevo Boulevard. I know Chris Del Conte, since he's taken over, has done a lot to, change the game day experience. Having the student section GA is obviously, how did we not do that forever? Was it just because it's Texas A&M, or is this going to be the standard now at Texas Memorial?
I'll jump in, Jason. I think it can be the standard when big names come to town. It will never be the standard when we're playing Sam Houston State or San Jose State or UT. It's never going to happen. Those games are in September. It's 100 freaking degrees. They're not night games. You're just not going to get that kind of visceral that you get from the A&M game. Do I think when we're playing other big name SEC teams, like when we play LSU and DK at some point, it will sound like that. When we play Alabama, it will sound like that. When 15 years from now, when we play Georgia again, it'll sound like that. It'll never sound like that for a game against Kentucky or a game against Missouri. But that's just the reality of football. It's never, you can't do it every time.
Let me throw a little caveat in that. I think I've always been a believer that you got to put a good product on the field because Texas fans are entirely too finicky to just be loud to try to change the way the game's going. They just are. But when you put a good product on the field and it's an exciting product and you give them a reason to be loud, they will be. And that's where I think Del Conte has put the things in place with all the game day stuff. I mean, it's a show. It really is a show. Every time there's a TV timeout, you got a guy on the microphone that's out on the field doing something, and we got all sorts of stuff going on. So it's a show. But the product on the field has to match that, because no matter what Del Conte does, when you're going 3 and out on offense and it's a sluggish game and it's boring, and fans are going to get lulled to sleep. But if you get an offense next year that's a high-powered offense that's out throwing and running and scoring 45 points a game, and a defense that's sacking and making turnovers, that stadium will rock and roll. I guarantee you.
Yeah, Jason, my humble opinion, I think it is specific to A&M. The thing I love about the rivalry is both those stadiums feel different when the other shows up. I've been in both stadiums for some big matchups. I've been in Kyle Field when LSU comes to visit, Alabama and all that. It's not the same thing. It's just not. There's a little bit of a different energy. Plus, there's a lot of credit to throw out from Texas for this game. One of the main things I'll say is fan base, football team, coaching staff, everybody. It feels like the Longhorns are ready for this rivalry to come back. Feels like the Aggies aren't. That's what it's felt like for 2 years. Watched it live at Kyle Field, watched it on television this year. Just a kind of a flatness to the Aggies, showing up like it was a parade and they were about to get an honor or maybe a trophy that had a half engraving on it. Texas showed up with an edge, showed up with an attitude, showed up with just a grit to them. And A&M never really looked like they wanted to match it. But the crowd, too, you could feel just this energy of, oh, we're going to show you. We're going to show. It had a lot of that good feel to it.
Why is it, also, before Bo gets in here, why is it like that, Chad? Why are you Aggies like that? What's wrong with you? All right.
Well, no
one hugged you? Is that the problem? Do you need a hug?
In terms of the last 2 years, I can't fully explain it. I just think it goes back to, Jason, there's more Aggies than would want to admit it that didn't want it back, that wanted to go away, wanted to go to the SEC and never wanted to play it again. Obviously, I'm not in that category, but a lot of Aggies, I think, are. I think that's what explains that part. And then, just the magic of the rivalry explains what it's like when the other one shows up. I was concerned that we were going to get what we got Friday night in contrast to what last year was. Because Kyle Field was pretty good last year. Wasn't awesome. It wasn't.
Well,
Aggies showed up for just any other game. The Longhorns showed up for the Aggies. And that's the difference. And you could feel it, even through the TV.
Chad, let me ask you this question, because I don't disagree with your assessment of the situation, but I think the rationale is the issue. Most of the students that are at the University of Texas A&M or Texas A&M, most Aggies, didn't grow up in it nearly as much as they did back in your era or even in my era, where that was it. They moved to all the kids that were born in, let's say, 2003, when Texas was on an epic run of wins in the national title. That wasn't being discussed in households. Nobody was mentioning Texas. Then Texas A&M moves. They're Aggies, but they don't understand the rivalry yet because they hadn't been a part of it enough. Last year, I think part of that flatness was they knew their team wasn't there. Sorry, no offense. You had Marcel Reed, who was just becoming what he's become now, which is a very good quarterback. He was
and the team had slipped. But to your point, the team had slipped by that point. They had seen
it was on a crater. There was no excitement behind it. There was no magical play. Right or wrong, Texas fans are always going to be invigorated to watch a guy named Arch Manning play quarterback for Texas, even if they were going to come out to support that. Marcel wasn't there yet. The Aggies, I don't think a lot of Aggies, they've said it out loud, but in their hearts, they didn't believe they could win that game. They knew that it was a game that was going to be sledding uphill, and that was scary, so they didn't invest in it. And then this year, I think they just bought all the hype. I don't think they got quite as into it because they just assumed they were going to wipe the floor with Texas because that's what had happened in their game against SEC bottom dwellers. I think next year in Kyle Field, buckle the fuck up because I think you're going to get everything the Aggies have to throw at it.
I hope you're right.
I think this is what was needed to reinvigorate the rivalry, and I don't like it because Texas is going to be the better team next year potentially, and that's going to be a real tough place to play.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some tailgates all set up by 2 p.m. next year at Kyle Field. We'll see. Texas gets the win, 27-17. Big nod. I could give nods all show for stuff that I enjoyed about the game. We don't necessarily have to do that. But it was impressive to me to watch those adjustments, the second half stuff. Sark as a play caller, bravo. Some of the stuff in the second half I thought was incredible. And then the other thing is, I said last week that if Le'Veon Moss didn't play, that I didn't think either one of these teams had a really good, you could count on them running back. Trey Wisner, I apologize, because clearly you were that guy. I think there was one wearing maroon, but the offensive coordinator disagrees with me. You, however, were the badass. You were the badass you were in Dallas. Sark, if you go back and watch that first half, even though it wasn't completely going the way Texas needed it to go, he still was committed to Wisner. I thought that was the most important thing of the whole game. He committed to him early, even though it wasn't producing a lot of points. First play of the third quarter, the big run. First play of the fourth quarter, the jet sweep to Townsend. Brilliant on brilliant. You could rip Sark a lot for play calling, and we've done it. And some people want to take it away from him. Damn it, that's why you hired that man. You hired that guy because Nick Townsend and his family didn't think that play call was coming. Nobody saw that coming, and he just rumbled on into the end zone. Brilliant stuff.
But, Chad, two things. One, if he'd have tried the handoff to Nick Townsend and Nick Townsend fumbles it, Sark would have been it would have been eviscerated. The Townsend went, but that's neither here nor there. It was a very good play.
Great play call.
The first half, the offense didn't click, and this isn't me. This is just how it went. But there were two definitive plays in the first quarter where there were obvious pass interference calls that would have extended drives and may have allowed the Texas offense to get some things going. Like their two drives were clunked out on obvious pass interference calls on Ryan Wingo. He probably would have dropped the ball anyway. They probably should have let him take a swing at it. But the second one had not one but two guys hitting him before the ball got there with their backs turned. Even the announcer's like, I don't know what that is. Like they just two guys just go boom.
Yeah. I agree with you, by the way. We've already established this year, SEC officials, they are going to let just maulings occur. They're going to let so much occur and not call it at times. I agree with you. The 2-on-1 especially. The other one, we could talk about but that's a PI.
This isn't about the officials. I'm just saying that the offense may have not looked as streamlined in the first half because there were plays coming off of those plays in the next set of, when you have 3 more downs or 4 more downs and you're moving the ball, all of a sudden the offense may have opened up. Twice they had the door slammed shut on plays that were called to get the first down in scenarios where they were there. So that's all I'm saying is like, I think Sark called a great game the entire day. It just didn't show on the stat sheet until the second half.
Yeah. Hey, while we're dumping on Ryan Wingo for his concrete hands, he saved Arch's ass on that ball that Arch tried to throw out the back of the end zone. All right. Yeah. Like I was sitting on the couch. I was like, no, my God, what? Oh, okay, good.
Jason, that is, there's so many plays in that game where I thought a badass for Texas was a badass, where like a guy that's supposed to be number one looked like a number one. That might be the play of the whole game. That might be the best play that was made all night. Because if it's not made there, if Arch airmails that ball, if he drops that ball, and then to look at the replay, Chance, you know this better than anybody. That is not the ball you want to deliver there.
No.
He turned Wingo 19 ways around, and Wingo still figured that out. He damn near, I think he might have got 2 feet in.
He did.
It was very close, but that was just a hell of a play. But between Arch, Wingo, clearly Wisner, Chance mentioned Burke. There were individual defensive moments throughout the night where guys are stepping up. Hell, I'll give DJ Campbell some love because on one of those sweeps for Wisner, he pulls over and he stood Cassius Howell up. And by the way, Cassius Howell is the guy that wears 9 for the Aggies. You Longhorn fans don't know who that is because your offensive line kind of neutralized him. We came into the game talking about, number 1 over here, number 9 over here. It really was just about Colin Simmons when it came to killer defensive ends. Cassius Howell was not an impactful player all credit to the Texas offensive line for that. They really did take him away.
Well,
So,
and hold on one
ahead.
second, Bo, because I want to, before we get too far off the Wingo thing, because we've all made comments, and then you talked about that play there, Chad, and that's what makes me wonder. And Bo and I, we've talked about this. I think the Wingo hands thing is a mental thing. I don't think that play shows the hands he has when he stops thinking about it. It's not a, oh my God, I can't drop this ball. It's a go be an athlete and do what an athlete does. And he showed it there. If you notice, a lot of times it's the super easy ones that like he has a chance to think about. I got to catch this and I got running lanes in front of me. And he, but when he's made just to go be an athlete, that shows why he was a 5-star. I mean, he elevated and comes down with the body position to keep both feet in the ground. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, there was some big time plays. And then for Arch, I mean, my God, the dancing Arch pulled off. The touchdown run is the touchdown run. That's the big exclamation point. But just the little moves in the pocket felt. How about the little shimmy shake and that little feather to, was it injuries that he hit with that one? I mean, that's Chance. That's beautiful stuff.
It's great. It was absolutely great. And then injuries, you give the guy credit. He catches a ball and he forced the missed tackle and then turns it into an explosive play. That's what we've been expecting to see from him all year.
Yeah, it was just, everybody stepping up that you'd want to step up if you're wearing burnt orange that night. And to Bo's point, kind of like last year. I mean, last year that game finished with a 10-point margin, but it didn't feel like that. This one did feel like maybe a little bit more than 10 by the end. But, I mean, Bo pointed it out. He said he thought Marcel Reed would fail under pressure. He did. 2 big picks. Lose turnovers, lose the rushing battle. Normally you lose big rivalry games like that. And obviously the Aggies did.
Let me say one thing so I'm not accused of being a homer, because this is the one fly in the ointment of the Sark called a great game. He can't run Arch like that for an entire season. This was doesn't matter what happens. Our season's probably over either way, and I think knew that they freed up Arch to go run a little more. They didn't handcuff him out of injury or whatever it is, whether it's a commitment Sark made to the Manning family or whatever it is. Arch didn't run like that against Georgia. Arch didn't run like that against Vanderbilt. Arch didn't run like that against Arkansas. They saved that for the Aggies. I wish they'd have let a little bit more of it out a little earlier in the year, but maybe this is how the progression of Arch needs to take place for what could be a championship run next year.
And also, Jason, credit to you for getting that slip and slide over to UT. All the different slides, man. Arch has got the foot first. He's got the slide where the body turns. I love the face first. That was, I mean, just because you go face first, you get every bit of that yardage. I mean, he had it all figured out.
Guys, if you need somebody on the slip and slide, I'm your guy. All right, I am your guy. My mom is still mad for what I did to the backyard when I was 12 years old. All right, that slip and sliding all over that thing.
She's probably not real happy with what happened in your bedroom after hours either.
You know what? She got over that one quickly.
All right. Fair enough. All right, we'll get to the envelope game here coming up. First off, let's hear from Covert Ford. Christmas is coming. If you got somebody on your list that needs a car, there you go.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Covert, and since 1909, the Covert family has been committed to Austin's community. For 116 years, we've grown with Texas, driving progress, building trust, and serving the Austin community. Whether it's the all-new 2025 F-150 or the versatile 2025 Ford Maverick, we're here to help you find the perfect fit, just like we've done for generations. At Covert Ford, it's more than cars. It's about family, service, and a legacy of trust. Visit covertford.com and become part of our story.
All right, kids, that wonderful logo there is Battalion Fire Protection. The fellows will tell you about them after we are done revealing our greatness. This is where we write down our predictions. We put it in a sealed envelope, and then we check to see how we did. The leader going into this week is Bo Edge himself. We'll let Bo start since he's the only one of us that picked Texas to win the game. Bo, you have 7 points. Did you add to it?
I think so. My envelope, unfortunately, was titled Not This Year because I had a feeling Texas was going to win and get screwed out of getting into the playoff. And it kind of played out that way. But when we open up the envelope of fun,
all right,
Texas 34-27. Texas in the range, but no, that wasn't right.
Okay.
Marcel Reed, 2 turnovers.
Wow. All right. Hey.
Arch Manning, 6 carries and over 50 yards rushing.
I think that happened.
Did that happen?
Yes, it did happen. He had 35 on one play, sir.
Yeah, I think that's.
Someone
I think
bet
that's,
it in Prize Picks. I can assure you, he went over his rushing totals. The problem was I had Ravens ruin the Burrow return in a route 45-17. Oops.
Ooh. Yeah, no, we can't give you that. We're going to give you 1 full point. We'll give you 1 point for the quarterbacks, for the quarterback comments. I think that would. I think that would work. All right, I think I'm next with 6.5 points. It looks like, and I do not think this is going to go well for me this week, fellas. Crap. Marcel Reed will have a higher passer rating than Arch Manning. Damn it! It was there, and then it. Yeah, that's what 2 interceptions will do for you. And Texas Tech wins, but West Virginia covers 24.5. All right, we're moving on.
That one was not close, right? That one was
We're
really
moving
bad.
on. It was 49-0.
I was going
Jason.
to say that one was. Is that the one?
You could have put times 2, 24.5 times 2, and it'd have been a push.
You're right. Yeah, my feeling clearly was wrong there. All right, Chance Mock, you had 6 points coming into this week. Did you add to your total?
I think I did.
Come on.
Not with my first one.
Okay.
Texas forces 2 turnovers, still falls to short, 31-23, which was my prediction.
Oh, okay.
So they did force the 2, but we lost.
Yeah, we can't give you that because you.
And number 2
you're doing though.
one,
You kind of a hedge.
Number 2 is one I've been beating on since October.
Oh, look at you.
Lane Kiffin to LSU by Sunday.
By Sunday, it technically happened, even though the press conference hadn't happened.
Yeah,
he was there. He got on the plane. The announcement was made. We'll give it to you, Chance, because it did happen during the NFL game.
I've been beating that drum since
on Sunday,
October, and I have the receipts to prove it. That was coming.
Once we wrap up the envelope game, I definitely want to hear Chance tell us what does he think about his side piece getting the all-time side pieces of coaches, Lane Kiffin. We will get to it. Jason Dick, I've got you with 2 points in the envelope game because you haven't been around for a lot of envelope game. Are you going to make up some ground here?
I just want to point out to the people who might be joining the Outsiders for the first time ever, I only have 2 points because I'm an unreliable, no-showing co-host, not because of a lack of sports prognostication ability. All right?
This is true.
Yeah, just to keep that in mind.
Hey, Jason,
no.
before that, you should have heard what Chad was predicting on your behalf while you were stowed away wherever you were hiding. You made some very outlandish predictions.
Really?
Through the mouth of Chad.
Okay.
I believe you picked Arkansas to win 58-3. I think that.
That doesn't sound like me. That doesn't seem like something I do. I definitely got one wrong because I wrote it. You'll see here at the bottom. I wrote it very small. Aggies win close one. So that's obviously incorrect. I'm hoping to be 0 for 2 because my main prediction. A former Longhorn or Aggie will tear something at the game before the game. I had a great time hanging out with Bo and the Edge family and Chance and my friend Casey Studdard and a whole bunch of great former Longhorns. Chance, you kind of spearheaded this whole thing, right? It's an awesome charity event, a little 7-on-7 football game. I was already concerned for you guys because, some of you obviously not you, but some of the guys haven't exactly stayed on top of their physical fitness since moving on from the University of Texas.
Damn.
And when I got out there, and no disrespect to the Texas School for the Deaf, I saw the condition of this field. I was like, oh yeah, somebody's leaving in an ambulance here today. This is.
Yeah.
But to the best of my knowledge, Chance, everybody made it out unscathed.
Everybody made it out unscathed. And by the way, Ramon Taylor looks like he could still go out and play football. Like
he's not one of the ones I was referring to.
No,
no. Raymond's was going. Other than the fact that he did, channel his inner Ryan Wingo for one moment on the last play of the game and not catch the game winner from James Brown.
But hey, I will say we got to witness something that not many people have ever gotten to witness, and it was incredible. And it was a safety, mind you. 18 yards off the ball, named Casey Studdard coming downhill for a pass breakup, and it was glorious.
Casey Studdard with a PBU?
Yes.
Wow.
Might have been a little interference, but we're just going to let it go.
But he did have the gloves on. Like, he was suited and booted. He was ready to roll.
I'm going to think if Casey Studdard has a little body contact as a DB, you're going to notice that. I'm just thinking you're going to notice it.
You did.
Crafty.
Bethel Johnson looked freaking – he looks like he could still pick up and play.
Bethel's ready to go? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. There's the envelope game brought to you by Battalion Fire Protection. Fellas, what do we need to know about Battalion?
Well, Bo will give you the phone number here in a minute, but the main thing you need to know, everybody knows down here right now, and especially up north, that cold has kicked in. Winter is finally starting to be here. It's finally starting to be part with us, which means we're kicking on our furnaces, we're turning on our fireplace, and the people at Battalion Fire Protection, they're here to protect people and property. Whether it's a new build or you need to get your fire extinguishers checked and make sure that they're good to go, hey, the last thing you want, your children are upstairs, they're asleep, your wife's in bed next to you, and the fire alarms don't go off. Or you have a fire and all of a sudden, you know, all your smokestack and your chimney is backed up. And guess what? You got issues, but your fire extinguisher doesn't work because you hadn't had it inspected in a while. Battalion Fire Protection does that, as well as the install of new property where they go in and they put in the fire sprinklers and they do the whole thing. These guys have over 75 years of experience. They are phenomenal. And when it comes to protecting your family, your property, the friends and people you love, don't skimp on it. Make sure you stay on top of it because fires can be devastating, but the people at Battalion Fire Protection are here to keep it from happening.
Bo, give them that number.
512-755-6569. That's 12755-6569. Scan the little QR code right there. If that's an issue, reach out to me on the socials. I will get you connected with Battalion. Now is the time. They're a great sponsor because they do life-saving work. Go Battalion.
Shout out to Battalion for their support. All right, we will get into some playoff talk as the CFP is coming. We debut, of course, on Tuesday mornings, so it'll be Tuesday evening for the next CFP. We'll see what it looks like there. But first, just a quick comment, Chance, from you, since it did happen. Lane Kiffin going to LSU. What do you think?
I think you put Lane Kiffin in that situation where he's able to go get the guys at LSU with the NIL money behind him that he really didn't have at Ole Miss. I think it's a deadly combination. I think it's pretty exciting for all of college football. I think it's a great match. I think the attitude that Lane brings and his personality matches up really, really well in Baton Rouge. I think it's going to be a good combination. I think you're going to see a quick turnaround. It's definitely, let's put it this way. Lane's not going to go into a basketball game next weekend and try to come up with a fake accent about how he's happy to be here.
My family.
My family.
I love the fit. I do. Chance, you know those folks, man. They need a little attitude. They need it to feel right. They need to be able to wrap their arms around it. The LSU way. This feels like it's going to work.
I don't know that there's any fan base in the SEC that talks more crap than LSU. And it's just the way that the people in South Louisiana are. It's a way of life down there. And there is no better troll in college football than Lane Kiffin. Like, he is the troll of all trolls. And he's one of the most phenomenal follows on Twitter that there is.
It fits perfectly. Bo, what do you make of it?
I think Chance he's been barking about this to me privately for 2 months, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense. And I just don't understand why the expectation is that Lane Kiffin shouldn't want to go to a position where he's competent. This has nothing to do with his salary. Ole Miss could have paid him his salary. This wasn't like he was trying to get a raise or he was using Jimmy Sexton to angle out another $1 million a year. This was about sustainability for his profession. He knows Ole Miss ain't going to be around a legitimate player 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because they don't have the money, or at least nobody was willing to commit the money. You've already seen what it can do in 1 year at Texas Tech, and kudos to Cody for doing it. But when Texas Tech got serious and said, we're going to be a real football team And if that means we have to pay for it, we're going to pay for it. Well, Ole Miss can't do that. Ole Miss could do it back in the shady days of brown paper bags, with bricks of cash and going in a legitimate scenario where players can demand the highest dollar and it's not shady. Ole Miss isn't in the top 25. Sorry, Ole Miss, but that's the reality. And it's why Mississippi State's baseball team is now struggling when they were a perennial powerhouse. There's just not the funds there. LSU, thank you, Mr. Kane's guy, already ponied the money up. And Lane looked at it and said, I can run this 1 year out and watch it crumble with lack of talent and all my best players getting bought by the LSU's, Texases of the world, or I can go to the one buying the players and go try to put some rings on my fingers. Good for him. Any other profession that anybody has, people are always willing to move to go to a better fit for them. Only in this is it's like you owe it out of, well, none of his players, if his players aren't starting, they can take a deal somewhere else. Like if his fourth receiver isn't getting the touches, he'll be gone in the portal. Same for the coaches. Like there is no more loyalty in college football. It's okay.
So real quick, show of hands. Anybody believe there should be a world where he can coach Ole Miss to the end of their run? All right. Yeah.
Look, it's a legitimate question, and I knew that would probably be the case with this crew, but we are in the minority. Like, some people think it's absolutely crazy even considering letting him coach Ole Miss after he's already accepted the LSU job. And I would say only let him coach if you want to win a national championship, okay? Definitely don't let him coach if you want to be petty, teach him a lesson, punish your players and fans. Like, Ole Miss, this is you have not been this close to a national championship since they started letting black guys play. All right. It's been a while since you had this sort of opportunity, and very likely, congratulations to the defensive coordinator, you're not going to see this opportunity again soon. So I guess I just don't understand the downside of letting him try to take the players wanted him to come and coach them for the playoff. Okay. Give him the chance to win it. What bad is going to happen? Is he going to steal office supplies? He's already going to poach all the coaches and players. Like, it doesn't matter.
In theory, Jason, I agree with you. Here's what I haven't heard so far at all, Chance. Would LSU have allowed that?
I have a feeling if Lane Kiffin told them, here's the deal, I'm coming, this is my commitment, but we're going to sign a piece of paper that says I don't start. Like a normal job that we normally get when you take a new job, your start day might be 3 weeks out.
Right, but we got to live in the real world of it. This show's debuting on Tuesday. That means we're a day away from National Signing Day. The portal is January 2nd. If they win on New Year's Eve and he's got another game coming up, he's going to have to split the idea of I'm the head coach of Ole Miss for a playoff game, but I'm also the head coach of LSU for the portal.
But here's the thing, and I hear what you're saying, and I get the intricacies of it. Lane Kiffin had all the leverage here with LSU, 110%. He could have done whatever he wanted to, and this came from the Ole Miss side, and this is where I have a real problem with Ole Miss, and it really, I don't want to say it pisses me off, but it's damn near close to pissing me off because the group of people, and Jason, you said it, we're in the minority on this show, but the group of people in that locker room wanted their coach to coach them. And nobody ever talks to the freaking players. And it pisses me off. And Saban talked about it earlier this year. And I think it's true that the calendar that college football is working with is so bad because it doesn't take in any consideration these kids. How do you think those kids feel that came there and went to play for Lane Kiffin? They've done everything they're supposed to. They're going to have a shot in the college football playoffs. And their organization just said, no, their coach can go. He can leave. Go ahead and go now. All your dreams and everything else. And look, I think the NFL does such a phenomenal job there's a reason why they have a trade deadline. There's a reason, because they don't want teams at the end of the season that are taken to get people off of their payroll, and then the teams going to the playoffs are just capping up, and it just makes it uneven. There's a reason why those deadlines are there, and college football needs to do something to protect the players. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Yes, in that world, I think it could work. I'm with the way that world is structured right now. I totally get why it can't happen. I wish it could though. It'd be a cool story.
He'd have to do both jobs at the same time, which I know is totally nuts. But to your point, Chad, that's another reason why Ole Miss should do it, is because you're hurting LSU. Okay, by not letting him coach, you're only hurting yourself. Okay, you've already hurt yourself competitively.
That's kind of fair too. Yeah,
we'll see when the rankings come out tonight. They may now not get to. They might have to go on the road for their first game if the committee gives them the Florida State treatment and downgrades them because they have no play caller. Then you lose a home game. So you've hurt yourself economically. It's clear your feelings are hurt. How much more do you need to hurt yourself? Look, I asked the people down at Tulane. Okay. What's his name? Not Pat Summerall. His name is not Pat, okay? But Coach Summerall is going to coach coach Tulane in the championship game, even though he's on his way to Florida. And the athletic director there said he owed it to the players to do that. And he said, I mean, if they win, they're going to go to the playoff. He said it's on the table that he would be allowed to coach in the playoff. Now, it would be one game. But
isn't that weird? Jason, I thought of the exact same thing. Like, why is it that at the mid-level, at the G5 level, this happens a lot? But somehow, and we've seen it at the big level when it's like OC going to go be a coach sometimes. But head coach to head coach, we're not seeing it play out. But I hadn't thought of that, though, that Ole Miss would get whatever they would get out of it, and then they're keeping him from starting the job officially in a way. I don't know.
I would guess in this specific situation, it's a little bit of rebel inferiority complex in that they think this is a lateral move for Lane Kiffin, as where, the Tulane people understand you get the chance to go coach Florida, you go coach Florida. And Lane Kiffin has a bit of a reputation that he's made for himself. So people probably have an itchy trigger finger when it comes to
the argument I don't get, fellas. Y'all need to explain this one to me. The argument of like, well, we don't want him to have a commercial for LSU while he's coaching our guys. It's like, wait a minute. The portal's still the portal. Recruiting is still recruiting. If he's going, he's going. Chance, back to your point, this would be about the players. It would be about Chambliss and Lacey and the players. And can they go make a run? All of them will still be able to transfer because that's the rule. Of course, that's the rule. And maybe Lane does talk to them about, hey, coach, would you think about me at LSU next year? Of course, those conversations are going to happen, but they're going to happen anyway.
Right. It's not like he's not taking a guest coaching week at Ohio State where he's going to recruit those guys. He's been with these dudes all season for several years. Right. I'm sure he's already texted the ones that he wants.
Yeah, I bet he's got their phone numbers. I don't get it.
Hey, that's Joey Freshwater on the burner. That is not Lane Kiffin. That is a violation. But Joey Freshwater on the burner will be texting the hell out of all of them.
It just says Jay Fresh, I think is what it says.
Can I tell you one of the things that I truly just dislike about sports, and it drives me nuts, is
all the exercise.
That too.
Oh.
But it's that scene of people at the airport booing and screaming and flipping you off and everything else when, a week ago they were singing your praises, and that's fine. You can do it. But to me, I think it looks so bad on the fan base. Because when you go looking for a new coach and that next coach says, if I come in there and I'm successful, these are the assholes I got to deal with. I think it's a bad look. I think, look, you're moving on. Good luck. Let's turn our attention to let's go find the next guy that's going to come lead these guys so we can keep it together.
And they went the exact wrong direction on that.
Yeah.
If you were going from young, energetic Twitter guy in Lane, I don't think they hit the mark with who they're going after.
Also, just officially, I would like to thank my dad for raising me in a way where he never turned to me during an NFL Sunday and said, hey, son, you want to go to the airport and boo our former college coach? No, I don't. I've never understood. I'm with you, Chang. I've never gotten that vibe of like, you can be mad all you want. I even understand people that lose their mind on social media now more than I understand the physical act of getting in your car and going to the airport, and you stand there, and then you see Lane. You're like, oh my God, that's Lane. Ready? Here we go. All right, now we can go. Like, what?
Anybody hit up a Raising Cane's on the way home? Let's go help this NIL on the way out of here.
What are we doing? What is happening? All right. Yes, Lane is at LSU. We will also hit a little. We'll hit a little playoff talk here in a second. Actually, let's do this. Let's hit some playoff talk in a way by telling you about one of our great partners. And yes, it is time for a little last stand hats. Let's start with some teams Texas might want to be scheduling coming up. How about a little SFA? You want to put them on the schedule? What about Bearcats? Bearcats, CDC, there's Bearcats out there. You could do that. You could do a little Texas State. Hey, G5, they're in the Sun Belt now, moving on to that new Pac-12. There's a lot of great hats. And if we go all the way up here to the top, look, see that across there? Still, all hats, $20. No codes, no BS, just everything's 20. Everything you see, it's 20 per. Nice little hook 'em there right in the middle if you want that. If you have some Texas Tech people in your life, get them some counseling and a hat. Got some Texas stuff here. You got doodle hats. Chance's Doodle Birds coming up right there. There's Chance's right there. That's the one Chance one.
Chad, while you're scrolling through here, would you mind going up there and checking a little team that might have some shady NIL money that has come in and see if they've got any hats?
Let's see. You know what? Let's check them out. Let's check it out and see. Let's check it out just for Chance. Come on, Chance. Get it. Oh, no.
Was that Chance? I feel like it was the Specs Bunny talking to me.
There he is.
Hey, Chad, you should re-put me into the specs holes. People don't want to see my face anyway. Chance,
I don't know if I'm allowed. Let me see if I can do that. Can I move? Let's see. Yep. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Perfection.
There it is. Let's see. We can do that. Let's take.
It's just weird that Bo wanted to go into the bunny hole.
All right. Jason in there. Jason, if he wants to.
It's weird that you called it the bunny hole.
You're the one that called it the bunny hole. You said put me in the bunny hole.
I admire Chance's commitment to the acting bit. He shelves it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He commits to the shelf, ladies and gentlemen. Only Chance Mock does that. Check out Last Stand hats. They are the true fans brand. Also, we'll throw our logo up as well. Try that Outsiders 10 code. It might work. I don't know if they'll get you any more off than $20 for every hat. But you got the Outsiders hat too. You got these 12 of them, 12 different color designs of the Outsiders hat. If you want to jump on in there. All right, gentlemen. How about wait a minute, hold on. Let me just that looks weird. Now it's better. Okay. How about the get rid of the Ohio State game, get rid of the Michigan game? You guys for this? Show of hands. Who wants to get rid of these games?
Look,
Jason.
I like the game. All right. As I don't have to tell you guys, but as somebody who tailgates most weeks, pretty dog-ass lineup of home games this year. All right. So I'm excited for Ohio State to be here first week of next year. But Sark is right. Like, look, when Texas was losing on the road to the national champion by one score, 14-7, which, by the way, nobody played Ohio State closer than 18 points the rest of the season. Texas played them to one touchdown. Oklahoma was playing Illinois State in Norman, beat them 35-3. I didn't watch that game. I don't watch a lot of Illinois State. Dare I say the Longhorns played a better game on that Saturday than Oklahoma did. And if Texas played in Illinois State, we wouldn't even be conversating about the playoff. We'd be in. All right. If Texas was 10-2, they'd be in. And why even have a committee if you're just going to rank them based on the number of losses? All right. If it's just that 3 losses is more than 2, we can't put them in. I kind of agree with Sark in that I would be like, hey, Ohio State, don't come. All right.
Two years into the SEC,
Jason
sounds like he's fully converted into an SEC fan. Schedule easy non-conference when you can. Bo Edge, are you in this club of get rid of Ohio State, Michigan, and Notre Dame? You're going to have to call 3 teams if you want to get rid of all of them.
You can get rid of Notre Dame because they're shit. But
Well,
Sorry, but that's the.
pardon me.
I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I never will be a Notre Dame fan. They shouldn't be in the playoff because they haven't beaten anybody. They don't deserve to even be in consideration for the playoff. But here we go. They're going to get an auto spot because back in 1927, Newt Rockne made a speech. Sorry, every time Notre Dame is on the big stage, they get the crap kicked out of them. Why? Because they're not that good. They just aren't. Nobody sees that when they beat up one team a year that's good. Sorry, but you can. I'll get off my Notre Dame high horse. What we don't need, we need to play the Ohio States and Michigans of the world. We need a new committee that actually looks at it like a committee and does their job. Until that happens, fine, take them off the schedule. It's not going to matter come 2036 when there's going to be super conferences and it's going to be a 64-team free-for-all and everybody else is out and letting the group of 5 team in and all that crap goes away. What should happen, and I hate to even mention computers because it's what screwed Texas in the early 2000s when it was the BCS. But if it was a 12-team BCS, I'd have been completely content with whatever the computer, because that's how things are done in 2025. We're turning into an AI-driven society. Let's use raw data and mathematics to determine who the 12 best teams are, irrelevant of what conference they play in. If that means the SEC gets none, so be it. I don't think that'll actually happen. But do you get my point? It shouldn't be just based on where the AP poll has you. There are 5 teams that are going to get in this playoff that have played one top 10 team. Texas played them. Yeah, we're going to get a couple more losses potentially. And you know what? This team screwed around enough that they maybe don't deserve to be in the playoff because we got pretty lucky against Mississippi State and Kentucky in overtime, and we struggled at times. This isn't about this particular Texas Longhorn team. This is about the entire process. Last year, South Carolina should have been in the playoff. If you watched how South Carolina played from October through December, they were one of the top 10 teams in the country, and there was nobody questioning that. But that's not what our playoff system does. It's a popularity contest. The conferences get their little hooks in because they don't play enough real games. So I'm not for scheduling less. I'm for rewarding it more, if that makes sense.
Chance, I'm not a big fan of getting rid of these games. I always say be Texas. It doesn't feel like that would be being Texas to me. But what do you think of it? What would you say to the idea of getting – these are home games coming up, by the way. Host Ohio State, host Michigan back-to-back years. You want to get rid of them?
No, I think we've already gone in there and played them, and I think we need to play them here. Let's go. Let's put on the cleats and go play ball. Like, that's what you sign up to come play at Texas for. What I'm excited for is when you move to a 9-game season or 9-game conference schedule, because the thing that drives me nuts is not the fact that A&M played Samford last week. It's the fact that they played them not the fact that they played Samford. It's that they played them last week. That's a thing in the SEC that drives me nuts, is that they start conference play and then it comes mid-November when things start getting tough and we need a little break, and they've got this little break that they all schedule in there. And it's all somebody, South Alabama or Samford, or they play these stupid games, and it drives me nuts. But for me, I think you sign up to go play. You go play in big games. That's why you go to these big time schools. You don't sign up to go play at Texas so that you can play Sam Houston State. I just don't believe that. And I think the Blue Bloods should play each other. And I applaud Texas for scheduling them. And I understand the argument of why you should get rid of them. But the fact of the matter is, if we don't lose to Florida, regardless of what happens in Mississippi State, regardless of what happens in Kentucky, if we don't lose to Florida, and by the way, Kentucky, Georgia had to beat them 13-12 last year. It happens almost every year. Somebody in a night game in Lexington, something crazy happens. Where the wheels came off was that we didn't take care of business against a Florida team that we should have dominated. And that's where it is. And so when you don't make it into the playoffs, you have nowhere to look at but yourself. You have to take care of the games that you're supposed to take care of. That's just what it comes down to.
Jason,
if I may offer an unpopular opinion. So unpopular. So unpopular. I'm going to say this, and then I'll just take another month off, all right? The problem here is not that Texas scheduled Ohio State, okay? The problem is the 12-team college football playoff. 12 is not the right number. And if you think I'm going to say 16, I'm not going to say 16. I'm not going to say 14. Because you know what the right number is? 2. Okay, 2. I like 2. I'll take 4. 4 is fine. All right. But Texas lost 3 games. We shouldn't even be conversating about whether or not they can win a national championship. All right. Tulane, North Texas, James Madison, 7-5 Duke. None of these people should even be tuning in tonight, to see where they come in the rankings. All right. When you expand it to this point, Sark is right. It doesn't make any sense to schedule Ohio State because you're Texas. And if you win 10 games, you're going to go to the playoff. But if only 4 teams get in or 2, you need Ohio State because you need to bolster your resume. Okay. You need to strengthen your resume, but you don't have to strengthen your resume when 12 teams get in. So it's too many. There's too many teams. There's half the teams that get in, probably more, have no business being there and can't win the national championship anyway.
But here's the problem with the committee, and I know I already went on my I don't like Notre Dame rant. 210 real contention for one of the last spots in are Notre Dame and Miami. They met on a field. That should be the end of discussion. Like, they have the same record. They're 10-2 teams. Miami didn't get in their conference championship. There's a whole different scenario there, how Duke gets in and Miami doesn't, but that neither here nor there. Miami beat Notre Dame. I don't care if it was by only 3 points and it was in Miami. They played them on a field, and the conversation should stop there. Like, that's what I'm like. I don't get. That's why the committee is flawed in its own right, because they're obviously looking at it through a lens that it doesn't make any sense.
But Bo, see, you've presented both sides of it, and the committee would tell you they're going to use both sides when they need to use both sides. You talked about analytics and numbers and all that stuff earlier. All they're saying is, well, they're not close enough in our rankings for us to use that comparison and use the head-to-head.
Your rankings are flawed.
We're going to use other stuff. It's just like saying the head-to-head in Dallas doesn't matter if Texas has 3 losses. You can agree or disagree with that. That's how they'll probably look at it, and they'll say, "Well, that doesn't matter. Head-to-head doesn't matter because OU is 10-2 versus 9-3, so they'll get in above Texas." Right?
Counter that by saying OU did schedule out of conference. It wasn't the greatest. We had Ohio State from the Big Ten. They had Michigan, but they at least attempted and made the effort. And they played in the same conference that we did and went through a gauntlet. I hate Oklahoma, and everyone knows that. But Oklahoma does deserve in over us because their season was better than ours. Sorry, that's the reality. Chance mentioned it with Florida, and that's true, but it's also how we approached other games. If we'd have beat Vandy by 21 points, it changes the entire narrative a month ago. It changed a lot of things about where we were positioned. We dropped so far after Georgia because teams looked at us as, oh, they barely beat Vandy. They just got their butt whooped by Georgia, especially the ones that didn't watch the entire game. If it was computer metric driven, then maybe coaches would not play prevent defense and try to run up the score. And I'm all for that. I have never been against running up the score. If you don't like somebody run up the score with, stop it or walk off the field. It should be a race. Put the most points on the board. If you're up 21 in the fourth quarter, screw it. Throw the damn ball if you can throw the ball, because their style points are going to matter. Then you should do that.
I think it does matter. I think it does matter that the Vandy score was how it ended up. I think it does matter that the Georgia score was how it ended up. And I think it matters that Notre Dame's scores since they got beat by A&M have been what they've been, because that's impressed the committee. They're blasting people. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It depends on who you're asking. Played anybody? They've had a couple ranked teams in there.
They played an average USC. Who else have they beaten?
It would have been, but it's a team that would have been ranked at the time, and they beat them by what? Double digits. They beat them by 10. Right?
Who?
USC? Right. They beat USC by 10, if I'm not mistaken.
So their marquee win is over USC, Like that's worthy of being in the playoff. They have no wins of consequence because they don't play anybody.
Right, but see, you're asking
You're
asking them to not lean on an eyeball test when that's what they've told you they're into. They're into eyeball test. What has Texas shown them? Eyeball test. Real.
Well, no, that's why Texas isn't getting in is the eyeball test.
Okay.
And I understand that because Texas put tape. But
let me make sure I understand. If you're telling me Texas deserves a spot now, is it Notre Dame's spot? Is that the team you want out and Texas should be in?
I think Texas deserves that spot. But I could understand the argument if you told me Miami deserved it over Texas because Miami at least beat Notre Dame on a field. I don't think Notre Dame should even be in the conversation. Notre Dame hasn't beaten anybody. I'm sorry. James Madison played about the same damn schedule as far as North Texas has played a tougher. The teams they've beaten are better than the teams Notre Dame. Tulane, their big blemish is they lost to Ole Miss. That's a way better loss than anybody I'm sorry. Notre Dame doesn't deserve to even be in consideration. When they've earned it, they've earned it. But just because your name is Notre Dame and it's written in that if you're in the top 12 because you're too good for conferences and don't have to schedule real teams, no, screw off. Notre Dame shouldn't even be allowed to be on the screen.
All right. Outsiders turning into an anti-Notre Dame show.
Just think about it, though. And I'm not jumping on the Bo bandwagon, but I will say, think about how much weight the media put on the fact that Notre Dame was playing Pitt, a not good Pitt team either, by the way. So much so that they took game day up there, and they made it out to be a big challenge for Notre Dame to go in and play a Pitt team that they were always going to rout. Always.
Yeah. I mean, this is a world that we've all lived in our entire lives.
Yeah.
We can get upset with it. We can have our opinions on it. If Notre Dame has a certain record, they're just going to get in. It used to be 9 wins. Y'all remember those days when they got 9 wins, they were considered differently just by getting to 9 wins. Them at 10-2, especially the results they've put up, ain't no way they're leaving them out. There's no way.
Whoever gets them in that draw, whoever gets the 8-9 matchup that will inevitably be against Notre Dame, just got the ultimate goodie.
I don't know. Have you seen what that matchup would be if they go by the AP? That's ugly on ugly. That's OU and Notre Dame.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, that's the one. Actually, I take that back. That's the one team Notre Dame might be able to beat because it's going to be a damn Mateer just here handing the ball away 4 times.
That'll be an ugly game. Ugly game.
I know this show does not need fact checkers, but Bo, I would go look at those schedules, all right? And I'm not saying you're wrong about Notre Dame, but James Madison and North Texas each played 1 Power 5 school. All right. Okay. And I'm having to count Washington State as a Power 5 school.
Okay. Tulane played Ole Miss at Ole Miss. That's
all right. Okay.
Tulane was who I was trying to reference, and I said James Madison. I apologize. Tulane is a group of 5 school that actually went out and scheduled teams. Now, they got their butt whooped by Ole Miss, but at least they attempted the endeavor.
Look, I agree. Notre Dame has beaten nobody of consequence. I like the movie Rudy less because of what they did this year. All right?
I'm going to stop eating Ruby's barbecue just because of that.
Wow. Now, that's bold. I have not heard that. I have not heard that plan before.
Just before we get out of here. Just for like a month, but not forever. Just like they're gonna get a timeout. Do you see? And I'll stop after this one. But Abdul Carter is having to sit out a drive tonight. Speaking of a little boycott, he was not suspended. He was docked 1 series because he had his headphones unplugged while he was on his laptop and he was playing porn in the locker room. So Dave Ball had to just say, all right, you're going to get punished for that.
Is that wrong? If anybody had told me,
I think if you have your headphones in, it's doing good. If the whole audience has to hear
that sort of thing was frowned upon.
Well, I don't see a scenario where that's good, whether you have the headphones in or not, because what are you doing with the headphones in around all your teammates in the locker room?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm confused. I don't even want to know how that story continues. I really don't want to know. And I don't know how I'm going to transition this. But Jason, I would ask you before
he's got a dick move.
I would get out. Yeah, that's probably the one. Yeah, that's probably
Welcome
it.
to the Outsiders, as Jason alluded to. Those of you who haven't seen the show before, welcome.
You see, Chance, I was just trying to make a professional transition to the Star Ranch. That's all I was trying to do. I was going to ask Jason if he's ever gone out in 40-degree weather and played golf, and then you had to make a dick move comment. Before we get to a dick move, Jason, tell them about the golf club at Star Ranch.
Oh, my baby, Star Ranch. I miss you so much. I like you as much as Abdul Carter likes, football. Yeah, it's the best place to play, particularly when the weather turns gross like this, because the course is in great shape 12 months of the year. I don't know how they do it. It's that magic Hutto water or something like that, but when it's 110 in the summer, the place is green and lush, and even when it's cold and gross like this, you're still going to have an enjoyable round of golf. It's a place where you can score, birdie available, eagle available, we like to say, fun layout, cool holes like the one that you see right there. And yeah, you can make putts there. The course always in great shape, and I like it because if you're not the best golfer, it's not so very punitive when you hit a bad shot. All right. You're still going to have a good time with your guys, with your gals out there at the golf club at Star Ranch. If you're looking for a tournament, you want to host a tournament, perfect place to do that. They've got the whole setup ready to go for you there. You can get more details by scanning the QR code there or call them 252-GOLF. It's the golf club at Star Ranch.
Yes, indeed. All right, Jason, before we get out of here, do you have a dick move?
Yeah, I thought we were going to throw it overboard because we were running a little long here, but I'll do it. And I know that, listen, my second unpopular opinion of the program so far.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose old news, but I know you guys are aware of this. It came out, I don't know, maybe it was Wednesday or even was it on Thanksgiving of last week, that the University of Texas was not going to allow the creepy, gross, one-eyed mascot of the Aggies, Rivalry. That's a lassie, right? That's a collie, Chad?
That's a rough collie, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They said, no, Rivalry cannot come to the game on Friday because you guys didn't let Bevo go to Kyle Field last year. Now, I would say, I don't know, maybe a 2,000-pound steer versus a dog, two different circumstances. You need a little bit more resource. You just need a nice old lady in a leash for the dog. Bevo considerably more, a compound is necessary. Now, it was pointed out to me, aren't you the biggest agricultural school in the nation? Couldn't you have quickly figured out a way to house Bevo at Kyle Field? That probably was the deal. But just the University of Texas said, no, you didn't let us bring Bevo, so you can't bring your dog to this football game. This is what I would say. Be better than them, okay? All right? Don't stoop to their level, all right? We're Texas. You're not, all right? So, yes, you want to bring the dog to the game? Bring the dog to the game. So, in a very unconventional move, I am saying to the University of Texas for not allowing the dog to come to the game. Dick move. Dick move.
All right. What do you guys think about this one? Because I actually can see the consistency in what Texas did here. Apparently they've done it before when somebody didn't let them bring Bevo. They said, all right, fine. Well, we won't let you bring your mascot. So Chance, what'd you think?
In a rare moment where I disagree with Mr. Dick, I have to say I love the pettiness. I love it. We can't bring Bevo? Screw it. You can't bring your collie. Done. No big deal. Move on down the road. I love it. And like you said, Chad, this is not the first time. And Bevo's big, majestic self has been denied entry into other locations. And in turn, we denied entry for their little mascot. So, you know what? Turnaround's fair play.
Chad, This is all I'm going to say. If Mike Elko wanted to be a hero to every Aggie around the universe, simple answer. One of those little vests on the dog and bring it in as an emotional support dog. And Elko could have had Rivalry with him on the sideline and appeased everyone because it's Austin, Texas. They're not going to tell somebody they can't have their emotional support animal. So that's all that needed to happen. And if that would have happened, Elko would have been a god in College Station.
You know what I would have done next year after that then, Bo? I'd have gotten a big-ass vest and put it on Bevo and walked his happy ass into Kyle Field.
That would have been nice. The big
You know
vest.
what?
And,
Hey, what are the Aggies going to do if Sark leads the team onto the field riding Bevo all the way down the sideline? They couldn't do nothing. No, he's not going to do that, but that would be funny.
That would be
think
excellent.
I need an emotional support dog after staring Reveille in the face. Can we not get a fake eye for that dog, Chad? What's going on here?
They have gone with
is
a patch.
creepy.
They've gone with a patch for Pirate Reveille. They did it for the blackout game. They did a black patch with the ATM logo on it. So I've seen them do that. I've not heard any discussion of a fake eye being used, like a glass eye or anything. So yeah, I mean, she's kind of permanent winking at you. But dude, even glaucoma couldn't stop her, man. Rip her eye out. She's still going to games.
It's not
don't get me wrong.
Endorsement that you're the best veterinary school in the country when you can't fix your own damn mascot's eye.
Well, you can't fix it. What are you talking about? The glaucoma took the eye. What are you going to do? You're blaming the Aggies for glaucoma?
I would have gone the other way on that, Bo.
I would say they could have put in a fake one.
Well, I would have gone the whole other direction and said that if anybody was able to save that eye, which Jason does not like, it would have been the people at A&M. And I love Queen Rev. I do. Don't get me wrong. I think she's glorious and elegant in her own right. But yes, she was so cute in normal, but with the patch on, she was so cute in that blackout game with her patch. Come on.
I like the patch. Yeah, I like the patch look.
I support Reveille. I'm not getting rid of Reveille. I was making a joke that if you're the leading veterinary institution in the world, your mascot shouldn't be a dog with eye problems.
Well, the other thing that my thing about the whole the mascot thing, first off, the SEC years ago had a rule. They actually tried to put a rule in where teams were allowed to say, yeah, we don't allow live mascots. No SEC school should ever say that. Ever. If you want to get petty like these two are getting. But don't you ever tell me we don't allow live. No, you're the SEC, damn it. You have some of the coolest live mascots ever. You can't do that. So
we're going to have to get rid of the hawk flying around Auburn.
Right. You got the cool live mascots. Don't tell me they can't. Everybody can travel. You need to say clearly, we don't want your mascot here. And then we can move on. What I never get, though, is why the Aggies couldn't host Bevo in that's where Bevo goes to get checked on, looked at. I'm setting up a joke where Bo talks about them taking Bevo's eye, but it is true that when Bevo is sick, that's where he goes. When Bevo's time for a checkup, that's where he goes. He goes to A&M because of the legendary vet school. So, of course, they could house Bevo, but in the past, they've been rude to Bevo. They've been mean to him during the game, and they decided they didn't want to come back, didn't want to let him in because they'd redone the stadium, and then Texas, gave it back to him. I understood it. I thought I'm with Chance. I like the pettiness. Rivalries need goofy little petty things like that, and, and all the people with the weird stuffed dogs in the crowd. Now, ripping the heads off the stuffed dogs, that was weird. But, I mean, it's part of the rivalries, man. It happens. All right, gentlemen, I think that'll just about do it. Anybody else got any other outsider business before we get out of here? No? Everybody just want to maybe squint with one eye before we get out of here? All right. Let's show you the new flannels from Poncho before we get out of here. PonchoOutdoors.com/outsiders. $10 off your first order as the weather gets cold. Remember, they got all kinds of great long sleeve options for you. Regular button, the mother of pearl snaps. Bo's rocking one of those hoodies tonight. There's all kinds of cool options that you can check out. PonchoOutdoors.com/outsiders. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next week, we are the Outsiders, and we are legitimately worth a shit. See ya.